It is some breaking news this morning that just broke literally overnight. Elon Musk, he's the subject of the column, telling me he's now agreed to stay on as CEO of Tesla for the next decade. There had been a lot of speculation that he'd be stepping down in the next 2 or 3 years. He had said that once the completion of the Model S, or the Model 3 rather, was up and running, that he might not stay at the company, at least as the CEO. But Tesla now announcing a radical new compensation plan. It could be perhaps the most radical compensation plan in history. Musk's compensation is going to be tied directly to the company's performance. The executive will receive no guaranteed compensation of any kind at all. He gets no salary, cash bonus, equity. He only gets equity that vests over time, but only if he reaches these hurdle rates, which are, dare I say, crazy. So right now the company's worth $59 billion. Mm-hmm. They run at $50 billion increments. So if he gets the company to $100 billion...
Wait, you're just talking market capitalization, not based on revenue, not based on the number of production?
There's going to be two metrics at each step. So the first step is he has to get the company to $100 billion and reach these operational and adjusted EBITDA and revenue number. If he doesn't get either of them, he gets nothing.
That's kind of a weird way to break it down based on market capitalization.
If he gets to 150... and has to hit the operational numbers.
But, I mean, the market can be irrational, so you can't control that.
At each $50 billion number, he collects 1% of the company. If somehow, magically, he would get the company to $650 billion, which is literally what the plan calls for, if you can believe this, he would collect the equivalent of about $55 billion in compensation. Otherwise, he gets absolutely nothing.
What if you get it to $650 billion and then it immediately collapses to $500 billion? Is it just hitting that market capitalization milestone that matters? Or is it keeping it there for a certain time? Is it hitting it?
So here's where it gets even more interesting. The shares vest, but then he has to hold the shares for 5 years at each break point.
You still get it, right? Even if market capitalization is the weirdest thing I've ever heard.
No. You can't. It's impossible to game because even if you were to get the company in the market cap to $100 billion, you then have to, by the way, hit the operational numbers
on top of it.
On top of it, you have to get both, and then you have to hold the shares for 5 years. I mean, it's weird. So if you were trying to do something temporary to try and
get the stock price up,
you can't because 5 years later your shares would be worthless.
It would affect decisions on buybacks and issuing stock and floats and all kinds of.
Market cap is just a bizarre.
So interestingly, the last compensation plan that they had in place started in 2012. It was similar in some ways to this. It had a market cap component, and then it had all sorts of...
I've never heard of another company tying...
Nobody's ever done it. But he literally gets nothing. And the other thing that's interesting is if he gets to, let's say, $99 billion, he gets nothing. If you get to the next one, if you get to $149 billion, you get nothing. If you get... So but it is truly eat what you kill, skin in the game in that regard.
Well, I mean...
Hey there, thanks for checking out CNBC on YouTube. Be sure to subscribe to stay up to date on all of the day's biggest stories. You can also click on any of the videos around me to watch the latest from CNBC. Thanks for watching.